Okay, so we recording now? Looks like we are. All right, Zoom, go away. And let's see where we are. So I'm slowly working on a disk-to-disk copy of Rocky 9 Workstation Live to a USB drive. So I can use that to boot Rocky Live on a computer and run it without installing it. At the moment, I'm on a Debian system. So let's check that out. Got my uname, says which version of Linux I'm running, at least the kernel. And then let's check out host name, CTF, excuse me. So there I am on Debian 12 Bookworm. And then how about, let's see, LSB release. No, let's show everything. Again, Debian 12 Bookworm. All right, so again, I'm on Debian. I downloaded some Rocky stuff. I'm burning one version of Rocky, the live workstation, to a USB drive right now. And our book here talks about, using an old laptop and installing Linux on it. So I'm on an old gaming laptop that we abandoned a couple years ago because I spilled coffee on my favorite laptop. That kind of sucks. And haven't been able to revive it. So I'm on this thing until I buy something else. VirtualBox from Oracle works pretty good on Mac, Windows, Linux. I've had pretty good success with that. VMware Workstation Player. I've played with VM a little bit. Microsoft Hyper-V. I have not played with that, so I'm curious if any of you have. What I'm going to look at next is the Virtual Machine Manager package. So I'm going to look that up here on my Debian system. And again, this computer here is pretty new to Linux because, again, I spilled coffee on my favorite laptop and I just revived my daughter's old gaming laptop, which has been collecting dust. So I'm going to jump into apt, and in apt, I am going to search. So apt is the uh, package manager for Debian type systems, including Ubuntu and many others. And let's search for virtual machine. See what we find. And my recollection is the package in Debian and Ubuntu is called Virt Manager. There it is. All right, so usually what I do next is I want to see some more information about Virt Manager. So if you copy something and paste in a terminal, the control keys are in Linux are a little bit different. So it has to be Control-Shift-C to copy. And then if I just start typing apt instead of search, I'm going to do show and then Control-Shift-V to grab that. Okay, so it's going to give me dependencies. It's going to give me some information about what package this is. Okay. Yep, lots of details. And I probably should go check out the website for more information. And this is it's for managing virtual machines. So this is the kind of classic Linux virtual machine, as opposed to the proprietary Oracle one or Microsoft one. All right, so I'm going to install this. So now I got to use sudo because my normal user doesn't have permission to install stuff, but I'm in the sudo group, the superdoers group. So then it's sudo apt install Just gonna paste in that. And again, it's Control Shift V. If you do Control V or Control C, that does different shit in the shell. So you'll figure that out over time after you have many instances of failure by forgetting the Control Shift versus just Control. All right, so, all right, what do we got here? We have some, okay. There's one package I could auto remove. Vert Manager needs all this other shit. Wow, okay. Suggested packages. All right, so sometimes this is worth paying attention to. Firewall. I'll worry about that later. Vert clients. And every once in a while I see one of these and I'm like, I don't know. Is that something I should worry about? So then what I would do is I would just grab it, Control Shift C, and then apt. Oh, we have to say no, we're not going to continue. And then I would do an apt show. Check out that package. What's it about? Yeah, okay. I don't think I have to worry about that. All right. And when in doubt, then just go online and search, virtual machine manager. Do I really need blah, blah, blah? And somebody will have written a good post these days about whether you need it or not. Samba, that's for Windows, connecting to Windows servers, not worried about that. Python, yeah, I don't think any of these suggested packages are a big deal. So I'm just going to up arrow to bring up previous commands, and I'm going to follow through with installing the Vert Manager. Yes, Y for yes, and then boom, away it goes collecting stuff. So again, Debian Ubuntu command line, apt search is a useful thing, and then apt show for once you find a package that might be useful to you is another useful thing to do. Otherwise, go to the vendor's website, Ubuntu or Debian. Ooh, interesting. Okay, not found 404. So either one of the recommendations doesn't exist as a package in the current version in the repositories I'm choosing, or the repository I was connecting to just had a weird internet glitch. So 404 means not found. And sometimes you see that if you just, make some shit up about a website and you try to go to a page, you get a 404, does not exist, not found kind of thing. And when we get to, so those are HTTP messages and they're numbered, and the numbers indicate success or failure. I don't think we're going to get to that in this class. Anyway, so I'm just going to run it again, see where we're at. And sometimes you might want to do an update before you do an install. So let me just do that. So I'm going to say no. And then I'm going to get an apt just update. And what that does, it just checks with the package repositories to say, hey, what do you got? And I'm using OSU's Debian repositories. Okay, so I have one message. It's a warning there. Bookworm change firmware component to non-free and non-firmware. More information in the release notes. Okay, so that could be part of my problem if my repositories are not listed right. We'll come back to that. So I'm just going to do an install again. And I can see the installation wasn't complete because it's still saying, hey, you have shit to install. All right, let's run it again, see what happens. Okay, same thing. All right, so now we got to troubleshoot those. And it could be part of the sources list. So here's where shit gets a little bit complicated. So let's go back to my update. And then firmware component versus non-free and non-free firmware. So what I want to do next is look at my Debian sources. So I'm going to read that, and you can read with a program like cat more or less. I like less as a reader. All right, so we're going to less, and then most configuration stuff is in etc. And then etc, I'm looking up apt. And for apt, I'm looking up the sources because here it says I have a repository issue. Repositories are sources. So I start looking at sources list. All right, so we have main for bookworm, we have security, and I do not seem to have non-free. So it looks like I need to add to my sources. Okay, so the other place to double check is, let's see, I have a sources list. All right, let's do so LESS is a reader, reads a file. LS lists files. LS is for list. Sources list D. Okay, that's what I want. And I don't want an LESS. I don't want to read a file. I want to read a directory. So I'm going to do the sources list dot D. Okay, so all I have there is VS Code. Okay, so it looks like maybe, let's double check here. Failed to fetch NSS QEM. All right, so looks like I have some research to do. So I want to lib NSS my machines. That's a package back here. Lib. They're in alphabetical order. So, here. Guys are not catching it today. Lib SSH, lib ND, lib NSS my machines. There it is. All right. So I'm gonna look up this one here. Oop. And see Control C, I screwed up. Control Shift C to copy it. And then I'm gonna head over to the Debian website and see what I can find. Packages. Let's try this one. SID. I think SID is testing or unstable. All right, so I'm running Bookworm, which is the current stable. All right, I'm going to access my machines. Um, Thing where it lives in another place. So this is the fun of Linux. Sometimes you got to troubleshoot. And when people are watching you, troubleshooting is always a little harder. Error 404 not found. So it could be that repository at OSU is missing that package. So either I have to upload up, I change my sources, or I can just grab it here and hope I can install it. Okay. I don't see why I should be missing that. And it's not showing that it's in a different repository, like non-free. Control F here. Search for free. Free comes up once. Over in the side, over here. Okay. So that should be in the regular repository. So I'm just having a bad internet day. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to pick a different Debian repository and download that file. So up here, you can see I'm downloading that deb and Firefox is concerned. So I'm going to allow the download. Okay, so that should be in my downloads and it is now. So let's see what happens if I just try to install that. So then it would be a sudo apt install. And then to load something, an executable file, you have to do /, and then it's in my downloads directory, and it is called lib something. Yeah, there it is. And again, I didn't type all that. I just used tab to autocomplete. So for example, if I do an R tab twice, it's going to say things that start with R, capital R, are resized Rocky and Rocky. So if I do an O and then a tab, it says, okay, their RO is Rocky with a -9 and so on. So tab complete is your friend. So again, I want lib tab. So let's try installing that. Okay, so problem is I'm installing things out of order. All right, so this is going to require more research than I can probably do in a short video. So I'm going to stop here and get back to you in just a little bit. Fun with Linux and installing packages. Ta-ta for now.